Welcome to the Brave Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Lynn, founder of Sistership Circle and author of Open Your Heart and The Art of Leading Circle. I'm the mother of 2 girls, an 8 on the Enneagram, aka the Challenger, happily married to my business partner, Brent, love connecting with nature, and have put in well over 10,000 hours circling with other women. On this podcast, we will explore how to embody the brave woman so that you can take action on your dreams and desires, unapologetically speak your truth, and live life on your own terms. Grab a seat and a cup of tea, and let's get started. Welcome to our final episode of the season. Wow, this has been a sprint. I think this is the first time that I have recorded an entire season in like the span of 2 weeks. And I gotta say, this is how I want to do it going forward because it has just made everything so much easier to do all of the interviews and all the recordings on just like probably 3 or 4 days, and using AI, which has just been incredible to create the show notes. So, in this theme, this season around kindness and compassionate accountability, I feel like I kind of got to be kind to myself and making it as easy as possible. And so I want to finish the season continuing on this theme, kind of wrapping it up, and really what I've gotten over the past month since I decided, yes, I'm going forward with season 5. I'm doing it now. I'm going to have everything preloaded like a month in advance. Yes, yes, yes. And that right now where I'm sitting is probably at least a month before this is going to go live. But I feel like where I'm at right now feels so relevant to the end of this season because I've completed all of the interviews. I've completed all of the episodes. And I am just a couple days away from moving back to Costa Rica. So there'll be lots of updates in the next season. But, as I'm preparing for this move and that transition from the life that I've been leading in San Diego for the past year to now reuniting with my husband, reuniting my little family unit of 4, I have a really deep prayer, a really an intentional prayer for when I go back. And that is to stay in this energy of kindness and compassion. And that the way in which I get to do that is by carving out more time for me. And that my intention this summer is that I am working a hell of a lot less, like a lot less. So I'm going to go into all of that and essentially what I am doing to prepare to take time off. And so I actually want to start with what has happened over the past week or so, because I feel like I have really, really been in it. And I think that this goes with, I was talking about being in the initiation, and that I really feel like as I am transitioning back to Costa Rica, like everything seems to be coming up. And this is to be expected. And so when I can expect the turbulence, it allows me to then use my tools to be self-reflective, to take space, to be compassionate to myself. I have a tendency of overworking, because I love my work so much, it can also be a place where I get to distract myself from what I'm feeling. And so if I have something going on, I'm just going to go and do whatever work that I have to do. And it's a way of me kind of, just not having to deal with whatever sensations are occurring in my body. And I think that this is a trauma response. When we become addicted to work, even if we love our work, um, it's a coping mechanism, right? And there's been many times over the past month where I have been so aware of my default being work. My default in my marriage is work. Like, it's how Brent and I first started our relationship, was with a business partnership. We've been business partners for almost a decade. And so how easy it is for us to just default to talk about work, and how my days are always defaulted to, I'm going to work from the time I drop my kids off from school to the time that I pick them up, and how much of a conscious effort I have to make to set up a walk with a friend, or to go on a walk by myself, or to just sit outside for lunch and enjoy an hour doing nothing, or even just pick up a book in the middle of the day and read. Like, what else can actually fill my soul? And I have been so aware of my resistance to taking that time to nurture myself. And then also noticing the quality of emptiness that I feel inside, because I am always just so focused on work. So, as part of this intention, I've had this intention for over a month of, I'm going to go back and I'm not going to work. I know that I'm going to be helping with the house that Brent has just built. I'm going to be spending time with my kids, blah, 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 blah. But in leading up to that, I have been working extra hard to prepare so that I can take this time off. Well, my body didn't like that so much. So in the past week, what has happened? My car starts making a really funny noise. I was going to drive up to my niece's, or Brent's niece, her graduation party in LA. That was not happening. Not happening. I had to take my car in to the shop for 2 days. The guy's like, you should not have been driving this car for the past 2 weeks. Like, your shots are shot. Your shocks are shot. The car just really was it was dangerous for me to be driving. And so it was almost like, again, slow down, Tanya. There's some maintenance that has to happen. Then what happens? 2 of my fillings fall out. Not just one filling comes out, 2 fillings come out. So here I am with these gaping holes in my teeth. Then my neck, pull my neck. Have no idea how I did it. Excruciating pain, can barely even, it still hurts. It's been a week and it still hurts when I move it. So it's like one thing on top of the other. One thing on the top of the other. What's the message? The message is, Tanya, maintenance, number 1. Number 2 is slow down. You don't need to be sprinting right now. And so I got to take a step back. It's like, even with this podcast, I didn't need to start season 5. Now I got a hit that now is the time to do it. Just go for it. It was inspired action. I have loved the season. Again, it's been the easiest season that I've ever produced. Yeah, it's been a joy to create this season. But I added it on to an already full workload. And, we're trying to get all these things done, and I've added more work to my plate. So I just kind of had to think, like, what's going on? Why am I doing this? Again, like, really evaluating this addiction to producing more work. And even just my thoughts and my mind spinning with new ideas, new things that I want to create, the next book that I want to write. We've taken on, trying to do more on our social media channels because we just haven't. It's like I had to take all this stuff on. Meanwhile, my body's like, no. So it turns out teeth in Louise Hay's world I didn't look this up, but someone told me, so this is not fact verified, but it's related to anger. And that is what has come up over the last couple days. Is just this really deep anger. And anger comes up around what we value being compromised, boundaries being violated. And it's almost like I have violated my own boundary. And that this has been a theme in the couples counseling work that I've been doing with Brent is Tanya, she says to me, are you honoring your own boundary? Stop looking at Brent and the places where he might be stepping over your boundary. It's your boundary. Are you honoring your own boundary? No. So I've been mad at myself for just working myself into the ground. And it's like, this is such an old pattern. And again, going back to trauma response of here I am packing up to leave, super sad about leaving and going back to Costa Rica. Oh, anger is the first layer. Underneath that is the sadness. I'm using the work to distract myself from actually feeling the sadness and the grief of leaving my community here. Because this year, I've been thriving. I have been so connected and dialed in. I have loved the Waldorf school that my girls are going to. I've been having my monthly circles with women who've been circling with me for over a decade. I've been with my parents and had some really quality time with them. San Diego is my roots. It's my home. And last night, as I was laying with the girls, I was laying with Callie, and Summer just starts crying. And she's like, Mommy, Mommy. And just tears. And I'm like, oh, I'm laying here with Callie. Like, give me a break, But then when I went and laid with her, she said, I'm not crying about whatever. I'm crying because I'm sad. I don't want to go back to Costa Rica. And I'm like, baby, me too. I get it. Yeah, we have our friends here. We have our family here. It's really hard to go back. And so I can see that, this is something that I learned at a very young age. To work hard, to avoid how I'm really feeling. And I'm really feeling sad. It's bittersweet to be going back. And I know I'm going to make the best of it. And I know that it's not permanent. And it's not like I can change my mind and come back if really that's what's best for my soul. I got a hit, a very strong yes, a few months back to go back to Costa Rica. It was a very clear yes, because I had been in a waffle, I don't know, like very much a lack of clarity. And this just came down of like, you have to go back. Now is the time. So, can I honor the sadness that I'm experiencing and that my daughter is experiencing? Can I just allow myself to feel that? Can I slow it down and just allow myself to feel it? Can I trust the process here? Can I trust that I did get the guidance to go back and be open and surrender to that? Because there is something that's calling me back, and I don't know what it is yet. And I know that things will be different when I go back because number one, we've built a place to live on our extraordinarily amazing, beautiful property. And, every time I'm talking to Brent, he's like, you are going to love it when you're on this property. And every time that I have been on the property, I have loved it. I get downloads. Like, I am so tuned in, tapped in, like, oh, yes, I feel that. And it's a both and. Trusting the process, trusting the guidance, surrendering, opening, and feeling the feelings, acknowledging and honoring the sadness and the anger, and just seeing the way in which I cope, the pattern that I have developed. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm feeling grounded after just reflecting on this whole process over the last week, getting my teeth fixed, getting the car fixed, packing up all the things. It's taking care of myself, getting back into my face massage because I had taken some time off. I took a week off and I'm feeling it. So, I worked on my massature for a good 45 minutes this morning. So, yeah, it's like put in the self care, slow it down. It's all going to get done. It's all perfect. I don't need to kill myself. And what do I have to look forward to? So, intention of going back is kindness, compassion, relaxation, and play. Brent and I had a beautiful conversation with our in our couples counseling about how can we bring more play into our relationship, because really that's the energy that's going to attract the resources and the next steps for De La Diosa, the retreat center that we're building down there, and the reason why I'm going back. So this concept of play, and what are the things that I want to do to create more play? So, horseback riding, something that has been a theme this year. We got really into a show called Heartland. It's a Canadian show about this family on this beautiful ranch in Canada. There's like 17 seasons. It's incredible. But it's a real, just beautiful lessons and beautiful sense of like, being a family growing up, and very relatable. But the horses, we've been obsessed with the horses. And there is someone who does horseback riding down in our area. So that's one thing. Callie and I have been diligent about every single week doing archery. We just got our first pins. We got our bow and arrow. Like, we've been really committed. We've been really consistent, and we have bows for the whole family. So we're setting up a little archery range on the property. Music and dance every day. I want to dance with my kids. I want to dance with my husband. I want to dance by myself. And Callie has learned 2 instruments this year, the violin and the recorder. And it's been incredible to watch the growth from the very first day that she picked up that violin and like literally having to plug my ears to now, well, not a year, but it's been 9 months, and that she could play these songs and it sounds great. So when I went to return her violin yesterday, I said, is there any chance I could bring this down to Costa Rica? He's like, yeah. I'm like, because in the contract that says don't take it out of country. He's like, yeah, that's kind of a, just little safety precaution so that people don't just like run away with the instruments, right? He's like, but I have even better news. Let me look up your account. So he looks up the account. He's like, you've already paid off half of this violin. So you only have $300 more to pay to buy this violin. And so what I can do for you is actually get you the next size up, because Callie's ready for the next size. And you have a credit to trade this in for free for the size after that. And then she should be at the adult size if she wants to continue. So I was like, oh my God, she has loved playing. She practices on her own without me saying anything. She'll go outside and have a little concert in the front yard. So I pick her up and I said, Callie, I have some really exciting news, but I need to know the truth from you. What? Do you want to continue playing the violin in Costa Rica? Tell me the truth. She's like, yes, without hesitation. I said, great. Well, you get to, because if you see in the back seat, we've got your violin. She was ecstatic. So, Brent's been learning the flute and she's been learning the violin, and just, like bringing music Music brings such joy to our lives. And I have signed up for a 10-day silent Vipassana retreat. Now, Vipassana came into my life in 2008 when I moved back from New York to San Diego. And my ex-boyfriend at the time did it right before I left. And his face physically looked different. I was so wowed by looking at his face and the softness that I was like, I want some of that. And so I had actually done Vipassana every year from 2008 to 2014. And I was there about a month before Callie was born. I had to get special permission because I was over their mark, like the time of when you should not be going. And so I was super pregnant, was treated like royalty, you know, special bed, special food, like all the things. But I haven't been back. And just a few months ago, I got that direct hit of this is the year to go back to Vipassana. Haven't felt that since, it's been 9 years. So I'm going to that, and I actually get to really take that time, 10 days of just being in silence. And talk about a nervous system reset. The vagus nerve gets to relax with silence. So I'm just feeling the excitement for that. Then we're going to be going camping as a family before Brent may or may not go to Burning Man this year. I don't know. But yeah, it's just a really beautiful summer that I get to look forward to. And I haven't really, my kids are older now. Like it feels like a very precious time to spend with them, to spend as a family, and to really take care of myself. So as I conclude this season, when you get this recording, I think I'm just getting out of Vipassana, so I'll be sure to, give the update during season 6. But yeah, I'm walking in, I'm completing this season with so much intention and gratitude that I went ahead and do it, but also just the lessons that I've gotten, the women who I got to interview and connect with, and that I get to step into some magic and surrender and open to the possibilities and excitement of this adventure. So thanks for listening as usual, and see you in the next season.
You just listened to this show. I'd love for you to leave the Brave Woman podcast an honest review. Reviews help podcasts like this one grow, making it more possible for me to devote my time, energy, and money to its production. If you take a screenshot of your review and email it to support@sistershipcircle.com, we'll send you one of our archetype activations as a thank you gift. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it.